This is for those who believe in the potential of science, making brave choices, choosing to push the boundaries. This is why we believe in what science can do.
Hi, everybody. As a filmmaker, I'm going to show you some clips because I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. And after that energetic, presentation, I think some imagery would be really great. So I've got a question to ask you guys. What is the intersection of technology, art, and science? Anybody know that one? Any guesses? Okay, well, yes. What's beautiful? Engineering. I think it's curiosity and wonder. I think curiosity and wonder, it drives us to explore things which are around us we can't see. And I like to use film to take us on a journey through portals of time and space, making the invisible visible. It expands our horizons, it transforms our perception, it inspires the mind, and it opens our hearts. So I'm a filmmaker on a voyage of discovery, and I'm passionate about exploring the world and the beauty of nature. Albert Einstein remarked, "Look deep into nature, and then you'll understand everything better." He knew something that many scientists and engineers sometimes overlook in the quest for truth. Nature holds the answers we're seeking. We're simply here to learn nature's language and laws and how we can interact with it, because every law of the universe can be witnessed by observing nature. And what science brings to the table is a deeper understanding of why things happen and how to ensure that the right things continue to happen so both our species and the planet can thrive together. I love to explore things which are too small, too fast, too slow, or too vast for the human eye to see. I've got a 3D IMAX film called Mysteries of the Unseen World. It's actually playing here at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum. And it takes audiences into real worlds beyond human vision, including all the way down to the atom. Here are some scenes from my National Geographic IMAX film, Mysteries of the Unseen World. With time-lapse, we can discover new worlds and broaden our perspective of life. We can see how organisms emerge and grow, how a vine survives by creeping from the forest floor to reach the sunlight. And on a grander scale, time-lapse allows us to see our planet in motion. We can view not only the vast sweep of nature, but the restless movement of humanity. Each streaking dot represents a passenger plane, and by turning air traffic data into time-lapse imagery, we can see something that's above us constantly, but invisible, the vast network of air travel over the United States. We can do the same thing with ships at sea. We can turn data into a time-lapse view of a global economy in motion. And decades of data give us a view of our entire planet as a single organism, sustained by currents circulating throughout the oceans and clouds swirling through the atmosphere, pulsing with lightning, adorned by the aurora borealis. This may be the ultimate time-lapse image, the anatomy of Earth brought to life. At the other extreme of time, there are things that happen too fast for our eyes. But we've got technology to see that world as well. High-speed cameras do the opposite of time-lapse. They shoot images thousands of times faster than our vision. If we can see how nature's ingenious devices work, we can imitate them. When a dragonfly flies by, you may not realize it's the greatest flyer in nature. It can hover, fly backwards, and even upside down. And by tracking markers on the insect's wings, we can visualize the airflow that they produce. No one knew the secret, but high speed shows that a dragonfly can move its wings in all 4 directions. What we learn can lead us to new kinds of robotic flyers that expand our vision of important events in remote places. We are giants, and we're unaware of wonders too small for us to see. The electron microscope fires electrons smaller than atoms, creating an image that magnifies things by as much as 1,000,000 times. This is the egg of a butterfly. And there are unseen creatures living all over your body, including mites that spend their entire lives dwelling on your eyelashes. They're on some of you right now. Can you guess what this is? The skin of a shark, right. A caterpillar's mouth. The eye of a fruit fly. An eggshell. A flea. A snail's tongue. We think we know most of the animal kingdom, but there may be millions of tiny species waiting to be discovered. A spider also harbors secrets. Spider silk thread is pound for pound stronger than steel, yet completely elastic. The silk is 100 times thinner than human hair. On it, there's a bacteria. And near that bacteria, 10 times smaller, a virus. And inside that, 10 times smaller, 3 strands of its DNA. And nearing the limit of our most powerful microscopes, a single carbon atom. Welcome to the nano world. With the tip of a powerful microscope, we can actually move atoms and begin to create amazing nano devices. Some could one day patrol your body for all kinds of diseases and clean out clogged arteries along the way. Tiny chemical machines of the future may even be able to repair DNA. We are on the threshold of extraordinary advances, born of our drive to unveil the mysteries of life. So under an endless rain of cosmic dust, the air is full of pollen, microdiamonds, and jewels from other planets, and supernova explosions. People go about their lives surrounded by the unseeable. Knowing there's much more around us than we can see forever changes our understanding of the world. We exist in a living universe, and this new perspective creates wonder and inspires us to become explorers in our own backyards. Who knows what waits to be seen and what new wonders will transform our lives? We'll just have to see. Thank you. You know, you might be wondering how I got to work on these big budget 3D IMAX films. Well, like many of you, I didn't have much money. When I graduated from UCLA, I fell in love with photography and filmmaking. And I wanted to shoot in 35mm film, which is high resolution, but without much money, I couldn't afford that. So I had to be really resourceful. And back then, shooting film was expensive. It's $100 a minute. So I started to film time-lapse images of nature. And by filming one frame every 20 minutes, I started to shoot flowers. And it would take me a couple of months to shoot a 4-minute roll of film. So even though I didn't have much money, I had time and a sense of wonder. And then I met my greatest teacher, Mother Nature. She taught me everything about lighting, composition, movement, and how to live a sustainable and a creative life, built on the ecological principles of cooperation and relationships. Nature never wastes a single molecule. So many of you may be facing similar roadblocks, like not having enough resources, but you've always got your imagination and a sense of wonder. And having limits can inspire invention and creativity. So I mashed an old 35mm movie camera called a Mitchell that had great pin registration, which means that made the images very steady. And I was able to buy still camera lenses and kludge it on top of this camera. And then I built a DC-powered animation motor so that I could shoot time-lapse of sunrise, sunsets, shafts moving in the forest. And I brought that camera from the animation studio out into nature, and that had never been done before. So I've been filming time-lapse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 35 years, nonstop. As I shoot about 2 seconds of film per day, I've squeezed 35 years into, any guesses how much footage I've got of flowers? 35 years times 2 seconds a day equals, a guess? 15 hours. 15 hours of material squeezed by 35 years of filming. But to watch them move is a dance I'm never going to get tired of, because the sensual beauty of flowers, it turns us on with color, taste, touch, and smell. And beauty and seduction are nature's tool for survival because we protect what we love. That's why kittens are cute, puppies are cute, babies are cute. If they weren't cute, we'd throw them out with the bathwater, right? We're hardwired to protect what we love. But it's the little things in life that makes the world go round, like pollination. Pollination is a love story that feeds the earth. But you can't tell the story about pollinators, bees, bats, hummingbirds, and butterflies, without telling the story about flowers and how they co-evolved over 50 million years together. And when I heard about the fact that the bees were disappearing, colony collapse disorder, it really motivated me to take action. We depend on pollinators for 1/3 of the food we eat: fruits, nuts, vegetables, the food that really makes us healthy. And many scientists believe it may be the most critical issue facing man today. It reminds us that we are a part of nature and we're not separate from it. So I asked my scientific advisor when we were filming butterflies in Mexico, I said, what motivates their behavior? And he said, well, it's all about risk and reward. And I said, why? Well, because they want to reproduce. And I said, why? Well, because they want to survive. And again, I said, why? And then I thought he'd say, well, it's all about sex. But he really pondered the question, and he said, nothing in the universe lasts forever. Everything wears out. And that really blew my mind, because then I realized how nature had invented reproduction as a vehicle for DNA to move forward generation after generation in the evolution of life. So rarely seen by the naked eye, this keystone event, this intersection between the animal world and the plant world, occurs billions of times every day and is the foundation of life on Earth. So here's a clip from the film I did called Wings of Life. And there was a young student in Istanbul, Turkey, who ripped this montage out of my TED Talk, and it's got over 35 million views. There's a baby breastfeeding on the mother as she feeds. Thank you. Nature lies at the intersection of art and science, and art looks at something as beautiful while science observes it in its relation to its function. Nature uses beauty as a tool to master function and to further evolve its species. Since nature is the basis for the laws governing the universe, one could argue that beauty is our most powerful tool to not just survive, but to thrive. All creatures respond instinctively to beauty, color, taste, touch, smell, and design. It's critical that scientists across disciplines study the fundamentals of nature and art and look to the systems and structures of the natural world to solve our greatest problems. I want to encourage all of you to step outside of the labs and explore the greatest laboratory that's been doing research and development for over 3 billion years. You don't have to travel to Antarctica or Africa. It's happening right beneath your feet in your own backyard. So last year, I was working on a theme park ride film for Disney. Have any of you seen the Soarin' ride like at Epcot or at Disney World? So I got the great opportunity to show all the great wonders of the world. Unfortunately, a lot of them are beginning to disappear. I was 2 hours outside of Beijing. I was trying to shoot the Great Wall of China. The smog was so thick, I couldn't see the Great Wall from a helicopter 100 feet below me. In Greenland, the indigenous people there told me how they couldn't hunt anymore because the ice was way too thin. And in Fiji, the villagers feared for the rising sea levels that was about to swallow their homes. So as I was traveling around the world, I got a call to make a short film on climate change that was going to open up in the United Nations General Assembly in last November, right before President Obama and Leo DiCaprio spoke. And this is a real critical issue. And I felt that for these political leaders to really understand the fact that we need change and we need it now, I reached out to the voice of God to help me. So I got Morgan Freeman to do the narration and Hans Zimmer to do the score. And here is a film that which was screened inside the UN.
In the beginning, there was earth. Paradise. An unspoiled sanctuary of beauty. The only place in the known universe capable of creating and sustaining life. Before humans came along, the earth was in perfect harmony, right? Well, Not quite. The Earth has always been home to chaos and violence, constantly changing through what can be a brutal process of trial and error. We are a product of this evolution. The first and only species so far capable of replicating nature's uncanny power of creation and destruction. Over time, we have literally changed the face of the Earth. So much so that the harm we've done seems irreversible. We're told that the Earth is dying and we must save it. It's a heroic notion, but it hasn't been very effective in changing our behavior so far. Nor is it true. The Earth isn't in danger. Not yet. It has survived through far worse than this, but it is changing. We are in danger. Mass extinction has happened on Earth before, and because of our actions, it is on the verge of happening again. Which means changing our actions moving forward is the one thing that can prevent our extinction. Our best chance for survival lies in continuing to imitate nature, drawing inspiration from its awesome power. Consider mycelium, a mass of filaments beneath the soil that allows the natural world to distribute nutrients and information without a central brain. It's not so different from the internet, which allows us to share ideas and work to form a common vision for a shared future. Most of us understand intellectually that we are connected to each other and our fate is tied to our planet. But now that we have the means and knowledge to effect change, we have to act. We've already found many of the answers we need in the natural world. The process of changing the Earth back into a place that will support us is well underway. Progress is being made, and there is reason to be optimistic. The more we do, the more the Earth will help rebuild and remake itself. What is needed is a concerted effort. This isn't a challenge that just a few countries or world leaders can fix on their own. It's going to take all of us, through actions large and small. One day very soon, we'll be asked, what did we do? And we'll say, we did everything we could. We have to. Because if we don't, there won't be anyone left to ask. We have never faced a crisis this big, but we have never had better ideas to solve it. This is our only home. You can choose today to make a world of difference.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're at a critical time in history where we need to depend heavily on the advances in natural science and improved clean energy technology to eradicate global warming and climate change. My greatest opportunity as a filmmaker is to inspire a generation of change agents by revealing the mysteries of the natural world. When we fall in love with nature, we will instinctively protect it. XSTEM is a beacon of hope for emerging scientific leaders, and there are many ways to be involved in the practice of science. Look at me, I'm a filmmaker, and I make science-based films. I want you to understand that you can make breakthrough scientific discoveries, both in the lab and outside of it. As we evolve over the next century, I believe we will and we must turn to nature to uncover the answers that will save us. If my films can shift minds by unlocking a deeper understanding of the universe or inspire inquiry and imagination in young people, then my greatest work will be done. Thank you.